Hello again, and welcome to the 411 on all things health insurance. So, a little bit about myself before we get started. I want to talk about my better half. Her first name is Brandy, and she is the producer and director of this podcast. She has helped me in many ways, and I just wanted to say thank you for all that you do and putting up with me. We moved from Chicago to South Florida for just over 4 years ago. And I've always said that I wanted to get out of the cold. And Brandy graduated from DePaul with an archaeology degree and then got her master's from the University of Chicago. And when she got offered an archaeology position in South Florida, it didn't take much convincing to get me out. It was hard to get out of Chicago. It's kind of been my home for years, and my family's all there. But like I said, it wasn't much convincing with the cold. After 40 years, my body just really can't handle it. So love South Florida, love her even more. Wouldn't want to be anywhere else with anyone else. So enough about me. Let's do a quick recap from last week about HMO versus PPO. And as the director and producer enlightened me, we didn't tell you what an HMO stands for, which is a health maintenance organization, and a PPO is a preferred provider organization. So just wanted to kind of recap that. And obviously with an HMO, just like it says, health maintenance, they're there to maintain your health, where the PPO is the preferred provider. So it has a little bit more open access to a network, not needing a referral to see a specialist. As the HMO, you have the primary care physician, if you remember that, and the primary care physician has to refer you to see a specialist. And it's basically to maintain the health, and obviously that specialist would have to be in network. Otherwise, you're not going to be referred. Where the PPO, you can just see any doctor, any hospital, as long as they are in network. So with the recap of an HMO, PPO, again, please comment if you'd like to have any questions answered. If you just want to make a comment, feel free. Please rate, subscribe, and review. The great producer and director of this show has us on every single podcast outlet. Anywhere you could find a podcast, just search 411 on health insurance and we'll come up. So with today's episode, we want to discuss ancillary and supplements. With that, most people right away would think dental, vision. I'd like to maybe expand on that a little bit more than just dental vision. Include prescription coverage, as well as living insurance. And what I like to say about living insurance is, would you rather get a check or a get well card? Before you answer that, we just want to kind of start with dental. Easiest thing to say when it comes to dental is most people aren't aware that your health is actually impacted by your dental. It is very important to maintain visits to the dentist for cleanings, any work that needs to be done, specifically as you get older, bridges, crowns, root canals. I've noticed a lot of clients that need transplants. They are not allowed to get their transplant until they get the work done on their teeth, whether that's an implant, a crown, a root canal, anything like that. It's, a little eye-opening when it comes to dental. I'll give you my personal experience. I've hated the dentist since I was a child. I think my parents, specifically my mom, scared us when we were kids when we went to the dentist and told the dentist, make sure to tell them that if they don't floss, their teeth are going to fall out. So I've always been terrified of the dentist. Something about somebody else putting their fingers in my mouth and then using metal utensils to scrape and pick at your teeth and gums just doesn't do it for me. And through the years, I'm not going to brag on how many times I've been to the dentist because it hasn't been that many. But what I will brag on is I'm a religious flosser and brusher of my teeth, and I haven't had on any cavities, knock on wood, in over 20 years. So with that, taking care of your teeth is very important. We'd like to discuss waiting periods as well. A lot of people aren't aware of waiting periods when it comes to dental. What I will say is if you need a bridge, a crown, or a root canal, and it costs upwards of $1,500, and you were to buy a dental insurance plan for, say, $15 to maybe $50 as an individual, how likely do you think the insurance company who's in the business to make money is going to give you coverage for that $1,500 bridge, crown, or root canal? I'm pausing to let you think about that for a second. Most individual policies have waiting periods for major services. So we break it down into 3 categories. Wellness preventative for your teeth. That includes cleanings, exams, x-rays, usually no waiting period. Coverage starts day one, $1. I'll explain that in a second. You then have basic services. Lots of them have no waiting periods. Some have a 30-day or 3-month, even 6-month waiting periods. And then basics would fall like cavities, fillings, if you needed a tooth pulled. And then the good category, I joke, major services, where the crowns, bridges, root canals, the expensive stuff, I'll call it. So there's usually a waiting period of a year for the plans that give you the coverage you need to cover a root canal. There are some policies that give coverage day one, but they'll give you a network discount of 15%. Some might even be lower, 10%. Some might even be 30%. But the longer you have the policy, the more coverage towards major services you get. One of the carriers we represent, shameless plug, National General, who offers a higher benefit the longer you keep the policy for major work. I should say there are actually other carriers. One carrier comes to mind we've used for years called Manhattan Life that increases your major services benefits every year you keep the plan. So some insurance companies are in the business to show their gratitude and appreciation by offering you better benefits the longer you keep the policy. I think that's great business from a business standpoint, but I also think it's great for an agent to make sure to let your client know, hey, they're willing to give you a little bit more if you're willing to keep the plan for longer. For first dollar dental coverage, what that basically will mean is the insurance company will pay for the cleaning first dollar. You pay nothing, so there's no deductible. So again, I know we mentioned first dollar coverage for dental plans. Lots of them have deductibles. Most have deductibles, I should say. There are few that have first dollar coverage. So again, with the dental insurance, I'm not going to sit here and go into too much detail. Some policies have deductibles. Some policies don't. Some policies give coverage day one with no waiting period. Some policies have waiting periods where you get better coverage. Just as an example, the plans that give you a waiting period for major services, after 12 months, usually they'll cover 50%. Meaning, if you have a $1,500 root canal or crown or bridge, they're going to pay $750 on the 366th day. Where if your policy is, example, $50 a month, 50 times 12 is $600. So if they're paying out for wellness preventative, which is cleanings, exams, x-rays, it's usually $100 or $200 a visit twice a year. And then basic services are usually being paid out 80-20 as an example. And if you got any cavities, fillings, or teeth extractions, the low end would be $100 or $200. The high end would be $400. So if they're paying 80% and you're only paying 20%, that's not bad. And then obviously after the waiting period, you could see the math. You're actually getting a lot of value. So if you explain it properly to your client how it works, They're usually happy to pay a little bit more. Obviously, if you have a spouse and kids, it could be fairly expensive, well over $100, sometimes $150, as well as some of these policies will cover braces for children. So again, we can sit here and go on and probably spend the whole podcast just talking about dental, but we're just going to kind of educate, inform, let people know their options, very similar to the health insurance point of view, as well as vision. So again, vision, I've been wearing glasses since I was a small child, 8 years old. I've never gotten a new pair of glasses every year. So I think it's pretty interesting. Some of these policies offer you glasses yearly. Again, some clients, God bless you, if you want to buy glasses every year, we have a plan that covers to get you glasses every year. Also, most plans, it's every other year. You can get an eye exam every year, no waiting period. Glasses, coverage, frames, lenses, usually no waiting period. So contacts are covered day one, yearly, and most vision plans are going to ship those contacts directly or let you go to like a Walmart or a Target or something like that. In the old days, I say the old days, but we used to do it at Sears. Remember that place, Sears? Again, these are individual insurance plans as well as the prescription coverage. So a lot of times you'll have a higher deductible health plan. Maybe you'll have a short-term plan that doesn't cover prescriptions, maybe just getting a network discount. So there's a lot of options available to a client if you, as the agent, know how to educate and inform them. But there are prescription plans, another shameless plug, company called Pram, great carrier, really there to help your client, protect them if they need some medication at an affordable rate. Prescription coverage is very confusing. Clients want to be helped. The way I approach it is, what are your most expensive medications? I know I hear from a lot of new agents, they have the list of all the medications their client is taking, when truly what we should be doing is finding out what they're taking the medication for, very important, and then give me the most expensive medications that you're taking. And that gauges two things. Not only the most expensive medication they're taking, but it kind of gets you in the mind of the client on what they believe is expensive. I've heard clients over the last 15 years tell me $25 is expensive. And $25 is a lot of money. I'm not saying it isn't. But there are lots of clients that are taking prescriptions that cost $100 or thousands. Some injections, some shots can cost upwards of $25,000 for rheumatoid arthritis, for Crohn's, for MS. So I'm very familiar with these conditions as well as these medications. And it always comes down to educating, informing, and doing the best we can to help our clients, because it's very confusing and people just want to be helped. So that's what we try to offer, is peace of mind, security, and just a helping hand to see how we can help protect you and your family. The last but not least, I think it's probably the most important benefit ancillary that we offer. We'll refer to this plan as living insurance. You'll also maybe hear me call it during the health insurance phase as a zero deductible. You can add it to wipe out your deductible for accidents and critical illness. So with the living insurance, Critical Life Solutions, last shameless plug, one of the guys there named J.R. Jordan, I've stole this from him with the check or get well card. Just ask somebody, if you're an agent, when you're talking to your friends or family, would you rather have a check or a get well card? Pause. Don't answer. Just wait for them. Most of the time you'll get a response, what do you mean? And that's where you can go in a bunch of different directions, but the simplest direction is everybody has known a family or friend who's been affected by cancer, heart attack, or stroke. If I say by a show of hands, I'll start raising one hand, and I always start raising my second hand. Unfortunately, I've had too many family members affected by these conditions, critical illnesses. So what we like to say is we provide peace of mind protection to make sure it doesn't happen to you. So how does it affect you financially? Positive or negative? Everybody says negative. This is where cancer, heart attacks, strokes, they don't discriminate, right? You could be a millionaire, right? A check for $10,000 still can help. Everybody has bills, everybody has expenses. Now, think outside the box. If you're broke, you need this plan even more because you can use that money to get a second opinion. Maybe get the Mayo Clinic involved, the best hospital and doctor in the country for whatever critical illness you've experienced, 90% cancer, heart, stroke. I guarantee you people would love to be able to make sure they have all expenses paid for their family and loved ones so they can accompany them. Maybe there's an experimental treatment. Maybe there's something out there that can help them that they may or may not have access to without it. So what I like to tell people is I'm here to help protect you and your family, provide peace of mind, make sure this never happens to you. Come and talk to me. Let me show you how we can help protect you and your family. So again, when it comes to selling living insurance, just ask, would you rather have a check or a get well card? Those of you that are listening to the podcast that are not agents, reach out to me and ask me how to get that check, and we will get you set up. All right. With that, have a great day. Thank you for joining me. Please rate, review, and subscribe to get the 411 on all things health insurance.